Okay, today we're doing a special episode of Fun with Maps. We're here at the Cleveland Museum of Art and we're looking at two regions. They have exhibits from two interesting regions in the world, and I saw the maps. I thought, you know, this is a little off the beaten path of what we usually do, but this is it's the maps and it shows what's going on in the world. So as always, I'm your host, Dan Hansen, and here's a different episode of Fun with Maps from the Cleveland Museum of Art. The first thing we're going to look at, this is an exhibit of a Splendid Land, paintings from Royal Udaipur. So let's look at the map here. Okay, here's India, Sri Lanka down there, Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean. We've covered Bangladesh over to the east there, Indian Ocean. And then as we zoom in, there's the Himalayas, of course, Pakistan, Jaipur, New Delhi up here. But here's Udaipur. Okay, so we're looking at kind of north, west, maybe central India. Okay, that's Udaipur. That's what we're looking at. And they say around 1700, court painters in Udaipur, is the capital of the Mewar kingdom, northwest India, began creating immersive works unlike anything else in Indian art. So they turning some small images depicting ideal worlds to large paintings of lived events in local settings. These artists sought to convey the bhava, the emotional tenor and sensorial experiences to make places and time memorable. So there's the map, there's Udaipur. Let's look at some of the artwork here. Here we see a huge soundscape by Amit Dutta. We'll go through quickly because, again, these aren't maps, so it's a little off topic for us, but in reality it is. This is a sunrise in Udaipur. Very nice. And here's Udaipur's lake palaces, a whole room of these. You can see them. Colorful. Quote up here says, "What a rose-bodied beauty is Udaipur. She is a city that captivates everyone." It's beautiful stuff. Told me Udaipur. I wouldn't have guessed that. Here's another room beyond the city. So what they say is, in South Asian art, images of idealized landscapes are common, but visual representations of local geographies are rare. However, between 17 and 1900, Udaipur artists produced hundreds of ambitious paintings that depict Mewar's vast territory beyond the capital city, its mountains, rivers, lakes, and fields. So let's just take a quick look through. This is floor to ceiling to give you some kind of sense of scale. And it's an opaque watercolor in gold on cotton from 1710 or so. It's really something. So as I said, Udaipur is in the northwest of India, and here's some of their classics. So let's take a look at the map here. So here's eastern China here. Okay, you can see down in the lower right, there's the Philippines, there's Taiwan, there's Hainan. Guangdong here, which we've looked at. We've looked at Hong Kong and Macau. Guangdong is what we might hear in Cleveland called Canton. Here's Hunan. There's the Yangtze River. We've looked at that. There's Wuhan. We have a Fun with Maps episode about Wuhan. And here's Shanghai up here. Okay. The Yellow Sea, East China Sea, and then we get up into Mongolia. So, as we've seen, two large river systems provide most of China's water. The Yellow River in the north and the Yangtze River in the south. And the Yangtze is actually Asia's longest river. Yingnan, where this exhibit is from, literally means south of the river or south of the Yangtze River. And it's here in the southeast of China. Let's zoom in a little here. So, the borders of Yingnan shifted. Its definition changed consistently through its history. See that red line there? Okay, that encircles historic cities that shaped the history of Yingnan and defines its cultural heartland, the focus of where we are today at the Cleveland Museum of Art for this exhibition. So you can see Wuhan up there, Shanghai up there. That's a pretty good map. And then let's look at this other map here. So the lower Yangtze Delta, or Yingnan, which we're looking at, it stretches from Shanghai over on the east there. It goes west along the Yangtze to the Lu Mountains. And this region's got abundant water. It's a subtropical climate. So it's called the fish and rice bowl of China. And people get around here traditionally by boat. Okay? So when we look at this region, there's this new exhibition at the Cleveland Museum of Art called China's Southern Paradise, Treasures from the Lower Yangtze Delta. And this is actually the first exhibition outside Asia focusing on the artistic production and cultural impact of the Lower Yangtze Delta, also called Yingnan, which is south of the river. And it's brand new. And it's here now, Cleveland Museum of Art. They call it China's Southern Paradise. So let's take a look at some of this from Zhongyang. I really like this pair of Chimera from about 400s or so in China. There's one, there's the other. A lot of good stuff here. We won't spend time with it because we're fun with maps, but if you ever get a chance to come to Cleveland Museum of Art, you can see some of this beautiful work. This is like a gauze dress from southern China. Southern Song Dynasty. This I kind of like. It's a canopy with dragon among flowers. Nice. Favorites here. This is an architectural structure from about 1127, South China and the Southern Song Dynasty again.
Yeah, we're not there yet. No, you can't. I was like, this would be fun.
Here's some stuff from when Jiangnan was under the Mongols. Still creating a lot of nice art. Tapestries and pottery and everything else. So as I said, we have all kinds of amazing pieces here, including, look at this garden stone. We're not going to go into much depth because, again, we're fun with maps, but this just gives you an idea when you have an opportunity to look at the map and then see some of the art and culture from it. You got to take advantage, right? Tapestries. Here's an image of the Taoist god Zenhua, perfected warrior, supreme emperor of the dark heaven from 1439. It's gilt bronze. Very cool. This I like. This is a sleeveless garment just from the 1800s, but it's bamboo tubes strung together. It's a diamond hexagon patterns and edged in plain weave cotton. So this is actually a garment of bamboo. Pretty cool. And again, there's so much here. These are carved lacquer panels, farming scenes. I like those. So again, this is something, it's different. It's not the maps. We know where it's coming from, but it's not our typical episode, but you have to take advantage of things like this. This is an emperor from Wang Hui from the Qing dynasty. And it's floor to ceiling, really large, impressive. It's a large exhibit. There's a lot of stuff. You could spend hours, probably days here looking at these things. The reclining water buffalo, you gotta like that. The moon flask, cup with Taoist figures. So this is one of my favorites. It's really long. You see, we're going to take a walk along it first just to see some kind of scale here. Still going. Still going. Still going. Still going. Can you believe that? And it shows the adventures. They do this for the emperor, and they show the adventures of life or tours or whatever. And what's cool when you look at this, I mean, it's kind of small. You have to really zoom in, and it's nice to be able to do that. But above it, they have 5 of these like blow-ups. So here's a section from the scroll. It's really big, and you can see it better. But right below it, here is the actual what you're seeing on this. So you're seeing the original, and then you can study it up here. So as we look at this, and then we look up here to see it a little larger. Again, look at the detail here. All these little figures, which being here live is fantastic. You can look in, but you can also zoom in. They have this blow-ups here showing the details from the original scroll, which is down here. A lot of detail. Again, here's the on the original scroll. See that? get some of the detail up there. So it's long. Spans several rooms here. So it's really impressive to see in person. Huge tapestry here. This, they call it a family gathering in New Year's morning. And again, it's really huge, really nice. But let's zoom in on the map one more time and see where all this beautiful art came from. So here's a map of the territory of the Eastern Jin Dynasty, about 317 to 420 CE. And, you know, from the 200s to 500s CE, China was split into regional kingdoms and short-lived dynasties. So between 311 and 316, the Tuobo branch of the nomadic Janbi Federation moved south from the Mongolian steppe lands and forced the Han Chinese Jin Dynasty from 265 to 420 CE to abandon the city of Luoyang. Together with the most powerful aristocratic families in other parts of the population, the Jin court fled across the Yangtze River and established a new capital of Jiangnan, now Nanjing, and then subsequent southern dynasties also successfully made their capitals here. So this is the territory of the Eastern Jin Dynasty, Eastern Jin, former Qin. See all that. There's a quote here in the museum. It says, "I would gladly wander in paradise, but it is far away and there is no road," from the poet Tao Yun Ming in 365. But this period was a decisive time, the formation of landscape poetry, calligraphy, figure painting, and Buddhism. Continuous warfare, political instability, you know, that encouraged lifestyles and seclusion in nature, but there's distinct aesthetics of poetry, calligraphy, and painting being developed by local figures. So that's what we're seeing some of this in the Cleveland Museum of Art here. So again, this is not a typical episode of Fun with Maps, but when you have an opportunity like this and you can see the map and see the art and culture of it in a, you know, for the first time ever really outside of Asia for this exhibit, you got to take advantage of it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Fun with Maps. We'll get back to our usual ones soon. In the meantime, I'm your host, Dan Hansen, and keep on having fun with maps.